listening to Erik Wardell Pause. We pause for a second or two. This is episode 33, Specific Skill Melody. Since I was a kid, I have been playing music. It started with that my mother thought it was a good idea that I took piano lessons when I was 10 years old. And I found them very boring. So after maybe 1 or 2 years, maybe 2 years, I stopped going to these lessons. And my mother let me. And then, as I grew older, 13, 14, 15, 16, I took up the guitar, the bass, a few random instruments, harmonica, and flutes and drums but as I grew older, and 16, 17 maybe, I picked up the piano again. And this time, as I picked up the piano on my own accord, it felt different. And since then, I have played the piano a lot. And it has become an integral part of my sort of fundamental experience of life. So it's quite ironic that something that started out boring became something beautiful. This episode is about a specific skill for the long-term situation, as I have chosen to call it. So the long-term situation basically is about the part of our lives that is when we think about the future, when we think about our future, as we make plans, as we have expectations and fears about what to do next and how it will all play out long term for us in our lifetime. So this is both a wonderful and a dreadful situation. And today's episode is about the specific skill called melody. And on the Polaroid for this skill I have fittingly chosen some piano keys that we may play the melody of our life on these keys. So what is this specific skill melody about? Well, maybe it's the most easy to start with what it's not about. So if we have no melody whatsoever in our life, then there is no sort of music to it all. If we do not have a melody throughout our lives, nothing really matters. The events, the different things coming across our path has little or no meaning. They are just empty shapes coming and going without any body, without any color, without any like none of it really is about us. Kind of nihilistic. That if everything would be lost, then it wouldn't mean anything. That nobody cares. Specific skill melody, on the other hand, is a lot about caring. It's a lot about actually giving a damn. It's about playing a hand. It's about placing our bets on something. To take the opportunity and do something with this. And when I sit at the piano and I play, in the beginning, as I started feeling my way on the piano, it was like jumping into the deep end of the pool and just barely knowing how to swim. To learn to play an instrument, and maybe the piano is one of the most difficult, people would say. It is like jumping into this extremely complex world, this extremely complex pattern. And it can be really frustrating because the piano keys in themselves look really simple. They are black, they are white, they come in this very symmetrical sequence. There are 12 different keys, and each key is repeated in octaves. And the instrument in itself is deceivingly simple in its design. But as you start playing and you realize that you have 10 fingers and that the opportunities are endless, this sort of panic sets in. You realize that you can do so much wrong. You can screw so much up. And the feeling, at least starting out, can be that there is very little to do right. It is very difficult to make it sound like music. And for me, as I just spent time with it, I sat there and just got to know the instrument and got to know myself, my hands, my touch. Slowly but surely, it was like creating a world of my own. And slowly but surely, I developed a language or a tone of voice, so to speak, that felt truly my own. Like no one can play the piano like I can play the piano. A lot of people play the piano, but none plays it like I do. That was the feeling that started growing in me. And as that feeling grew stronger, it didn't matter if I played right or wrong anymore, because it all sounded like me. So whatever melody I was playing, or whatever chords or combinations I tried, it didn't matter if it sounded off sometimes. It didn't matter if I didn't find my way straight away. It didn't matter if I lost my way, because it all sounded like me. As I am speaking now about specific skill melody, maybe you are starting to get a sense of what I am getting at. It is that for our long-term situation, as we make plans in life, as we make our way, as we put one foot in front of the other, as we make plans with our family and friends, the goal is not to play the right notes. The goal is not to avoid doing wrongs. The goal is to play so it sounds like yourself. And as you start recognizing the sound of yourself, whatever you like doing, or whatever path you want to take, then decision making in life starts feeling differently. It's like our brains start functioning in a more fluid and musical way. That sometimes, maybe to sound like ourselves, we have to do something wrong. Because as I sit by the piano, or as we live our lives, what we want is to not second guess ourselves. Because as I put my fingers to the keys on the piano, if I doubt myself, it takes all the fun out of it. If I doubt the contact between my fingertips and the keys, if I'm not present with a sensation of pressure in my finger, if I'm not present with the weight in my arm and in my hand, throughout my body, if I'm not present with that, if I second guess myself, then it won't sound like music, and it surely won't sound like me. I have to put my body into it. I have to put my weight into it. I have to feel the connection. I have to feel the piano running through me. And in the same way, as we take steps, even as we plan steps in life, we have to let whatever we are doing run through us. We have to put our weight into it. We have to listen for the sound of ourselves and the sound of whatever we are doing or facing in us. It's a conversation. It's a meeting. And I am getting animated as I'm speaking about this because it is important. As we sit by the piano, as you sit by your instrument, whatever it may be, the goal is not to learn every song in the world. The goal is not to play everything perfectly. When playing melodies, what is important is to play the melody that speaks to you. So, specific skill melody is also about doing less, I would say. To prioritize and to only do what feels like music to you. I think we can surprise ourselves with how much we really do not need to do in life. This is true for me, at least. I can feel that there is a lot I can live without. That maybe people tell me that I need, but I don't. And the thing about a melody or music or whatever speaks to you is that in order for a melody to really come to its full right, to really bloom or shine or whatever you want to say, in order for a melody to really stand out, it needs space around it. So if you know your melody, what you want to do, or the next notes you want to play on your path, in your story, if you know what you want to do next, you have to make space for it. So you have to say no to things blocking it. So it's a lot about house cleaning as well. To not fill up space with noise and insignificant stuff. And this part of specific skill melody takes determination, takes discipline, takes confidence. We cannot second guess ourselves. It's not attractive to second guess. Playing music, living life, for it to mean anything, it needs to be attractive. And it needs to be attractive to ourselves. That is it for today. Thank you.